Beef stew, the ultimate comfort food. Every culture on the planet has their version, and this is mine. Trust the process, believe in yourself. Let's get to it. Okay, so our meat, we're gonna have to dredge our meat in flour. When we cook it in the oil, it'll caramelize and it'll bring out a lot of flavor. This is a step you really don't want to miss. It's one of the longer steps because you have to cook through all the meat, but this will give the beef stew so much extra flavor that you almost have to go through the process. If not, you're gonna have a kind of a bland stew. This helps deepen it. So what you want is you want a 1/4 to 1/2 cup of flour. This is probably more, it's probably a cup. I probably put way too much, but that doesn't matter. You're basically just gonna toss it in here. Garlic powder, good healthy pinch of black pepper. Don't worry, the black pepper is not going to burn. I don't care how many people say it does. It does not. And same about a healthy pinch of salt. You're looking at probably a teaspoon of both, to be honest. And that's it. Don't need anything fancy, don't need anything big. Get it nice and stirred together. Now, you can do it nice and easy and do a couple pieces at a time. Nope, we don't have time for all that. Let's just get it all dredged in there. Get every piece coated well. Make sure you break them apart. There should be enough to coat all of these. You can even toss them if you like. I'm making a mess, but that's okay. Cooking is messy. All right, look at all that mess I made. It's no big deal. That's it. That's what you're looking for right there. This one I'm nice and coated. This will help also thicken the stew a little bit. So now let's get back to the stovetop. All right, let's start with medium heat. Add 2 or 3 tablespoons of, you can use canola oil or vegetable oil, but I prefer olive oil. We're gonna end up going back to this a few times, so you're gonna wanna keep the olive oil handy or your oil handy because we're gonna work all of that meat in there in batches. So you just want it till a nice caramelization. I'll show you what that looks like. Get yourself a good set of tongs as well. You're gonna need them. I have these. They're like a Japanese style. You can see they're like a large tweezer, but they're for cooking and flipping without having to manage the food or touch the food too much. I love these things. They have these, and then there's another one that's a little wider, and they work great for this kind of stuff. They're like 20 bucks for a pair on Amazon. Oh, they'll last you for a lifetime. So let's get that temperature up a little bit. All right, let's get it in there. Like I said, you wanna do this in batches. So this could take a little while. It's the longest process. Everything after this just pretty much goes in. So just be patient. It's got its rewards. Here's a little tip to remember. When you think it's ready to flip over, if you grab the meat and it doesn't want to come away from the pan, it's not done cooking. When it caramelizes, it'll eventually release itself from the pan. As long as you've got a good either non-stick or unenameled pan like this one. These are doing pretty good, but like that one's stuck a little bit. It's starting to caramelize, but it'll release itself from the pan. So don't be patient with them. You don't have to rush it. All right, this is the first flip of the first batch. I just want to show what it looks like. Oh yeah, look at that. Look how caramelized that is. You can run a knife and get that crunchy thing that everybody likes to do online. That's how good it is. You want all your pieces of meat to look like this. You don't have to do every single side, but at least do 2 per piece. Doing every single side will just take you way too long. It's not worth it. All right, this is the last batch. They are beautiful. So let's get all this stuff out of here. Now I've already turned off the heat because as you pull these off, you don't want it to keep burning. It'll smoke. Also, as you cook, you're gonna, if I didn't mention it earlier, you're going to want to keep adding a little bit of oil at a time per batch in case you run out. So what you see here on the bottom, all this dark, that's called fond. That is a good portion of your flavor, and that is why you cook the meat until caramelization with the flour, because you want this. This is going to bring a lot of flavor to the stew. And the flour that's still on the meat will help thicken it as we go. So now that we have that, we can get rid of our tweezers. Let's get a nice spoon. This one will do. Got a little oil, that's fine. Let's put it back on medium heat. What we're gonna wanna do first is we're gonna add our onions. What our onions are gonna do is as the water gets pulled from them, it's not really deglazing, but it'll help pull all the bits off the bottom of the pan once they get wet. So you're gonna start seeing bits pull up until that becomes perfectly clean. That's what we're looking for. We don't want the onions to be clear. We're just cooking the onions long enough, just long enough to get the stuff off the bottom of the pan. That's all you want. You don't want to cook them any longer. If you cook them longer, once the stew gets to the point where we let it simmer for an hour, those can break down and they'll get mushy and it's not really good. Now again, you notice I'm not adding any salt, I'm not adding any pepper. You do kind of, in most circumstances, you want to season as you go, but I do have salt and pepper on the meat and garlic powder, and we're going to add a couple other ingredients that are going to help this along. So don't worry about the salt and pepper right now. All right, now you see the bottom is basically almost all the fond is taken off, but that's okay. It's going to come off when we add the liquid anyway. So at this point, we want to add our garlic. Let that get aromatic for about a minute. Oh, you can already smell it. It comes out almost instantly. All right, it's been about a minute. That garlic is done. Now we're going to add in tomato paste. You can guesstimate, it's okay. 3 tablespoons. Now remember, this is for 3 pounds of meat. The recipe will show you with 1 pound of meat, so you won't have to worry too much about that. I'm making a lot, so I'm scaling it up. Now, with tomato paste, when you add it in here, the reason you don't add it in with the liquid is you want the tomato paste to mature a little bit by cooking it. When I say mature, I just mean the smell and the fragrance and the flavor. So what you want to do is just keep it moving until it starts to darken. Once it starts to darken, start adding the rest of your ingredients fast because you don't want the tomato paste to burn. And you can smell it. When the tomato paste matures, I say mature, I don't know a better term for it, but when it starts to darken, oh, it smells really amazing. It's a tomatoey smell, but not too much. And don't worry, tomato paste is a common ingredient in beef stew, and you've had beef stew with it, whether you knew it or not. It just adds a different layer and a little acidity to it. Let's go ahead and add our mushrooms. Let's add our carrots. Let's get those all kind of mixed around. We're gonna start with 4 cups of broth. 1 box of this Swanson or any other flavored. These boxes are all 4 cups. Because I don't know what pot you're going to be using. I know what pot I'm going to be using. So you always want to make sure that you have plenty of room for your potatoes. So 4 cups, we'll definitely do another 4. Remember, we still got to add the meat in too. Let's do another 4 in there. And remember, these mushrooms will cook down, the onions will cook down farther, so there's going to be a lot more room and water. The mushrooms are going to give off a lot of water. We can turn this up to high now so we can get this thing started. We need to get it up to boiling. Okay, let's start with our herbs. We're going to start with 3 bay leaves. 1 teaspoon of celery seed. I don't like using celery because celery breaks down faster and more than any other vegetable you're gonna throw in here, and I don't like the mush that celery will turn into, so I use celery seeds. 1 teaspoon of ground rosemary and 1/4 teaspoon of thyme. These were whole. I went ahead and ground them in our coffee mill. And then 1 tablespoon, this is my preference, you do not have to add this, 1 tablespoon of beef bouillon. We like the flavor of it, that's why it's in there. And this is called umami seasoning. You do not have to add this if you can't find it. This is purely optional, but for us, we have become addicted to this stuff, and I will show it to you. That's 1 tablespoon. It is this. It's McCormick Umami Seasoning. McCormick is not a sponsor of mine. We have never talked. I have never reached out to them. This is just something Trina and I found at the grocery store, and we're basically addicted to it. We've put this on chicken. We've put it on beef. I put it on ribs with my rub as a first layer. This can basically go on anything with meat, salads. You got to try this stuff. This stuff is amazing. You can put it on popcorn, but what else did we put it on? Put it on chicken thighs. Oh, chicken thighs. It's just amazing. You've got to try this stuff if you guys can find it. We found it at Walmart, but it's at Meijer as well. It will make any food you put it on better. So we've got it mixed up. I can already feel the bottom is basically cleaned off now, and I'm going to give it a little taste just to make sure. Oh, heck yeah. So now we're going to add in the meat. Everything but the potatoes is in the pot. Yes, it looks chunky, but I'm not done yet. We're going to add some more liquid here. There we go. Look at that, guys. Come on now. It's crazy. I want to add about another 2 cups, which is about half this. So we're talking about 10 cups now. You want about 1 inch from the top. Because remember, we're going to evaporate a lot of this off, but we also want enough room for the potatoes. But like I said, these mushrooms are all going to release water. The onions still have water release, the carrots. Everything is going to release water. So we're going to get this up to boiling, then we're going to turn it down to simmer and let it simmer for an hour, stirring occasionally. And once that hour is up, we will get back to you and do those potatoes. Okay, so as you can see, the mushrooms, onions, everything is reduced down smaller. You can also tell from the edge of the liquid here that it's gone down about 1/2 inch. That's perfect. Now, before you throw the potatoes in, you're going to want to taste it and salt to taste. It needs some salt. Not a lot, a teaspoon will do. Because remember, we're putting in the potatoes as well, so you don't want it salty, but you definitely want it to be where you want it, your levels. What we have here, for every 2 pounds of meat, you want 1 pound of potatoes. But I've got 3.5 pounds, so I'm gonna go ahead and use 2 pounds of potatoes. I used Yukon Golds. You can use russets or reds or Yukon Golds, but russets will break down and get mealy when they're overcooked or cooked for a while. Yukon Golds hold up better, and you don't have to skin them. Awesome. So my preference is the Yukon Golds because they're just an easier potato to work with, and they hold up better over long cooks. Now remember, you don't need a lot of liquid to cook a potato. You just, because they hold so much water in themselves. So you want to cook these till what you like. That'll probably be about 20 minutes. And once those are done, we will plate these up and see if Trina is happy with the results. Okay, it's all finished. Looks delicious. Look at that. It looks amazing. So we're gonna get Trina here to try this. Trina, hey babe. Trina. So here, try that. Yeah, get some of that meat.
Yeah, I don't want that mushroom.
You don't want the mushrooms. You don't like mushrooms.
The flavor's okay, just the texture.
Yeah. Just came off the stove. What do you think?
It's really good.
It is really good. And I introduced them to the umami stuff.
That's perfect stuff.
Trust the process. Believe in yourself. If we can do it, you can do it. We'll see you next time.
See ya.